Thank you, Count Corda. Well, democracy is all we have, and the best model in operation is the one that we have. The political parties, whether we like it or not, have derailed democracy to a degree. They have taken charge of it, and what we have now is a directed democracy. So parliamentary parties in this House of one kind or another, and I can certainly speak for my own, they tend to put on the straitjacket on each of the members to ensure that there is very little debate. So when I was elected here first, parliamentary parties, this chamber here, would all discuss legislation in detail. We'd recommend change. We would recommend doing things differently. We would perhaps introduce amendments, and you felt you were part of the system. That has completely drifted from that position. Perhaps it's the European Union, and I'm in favour of the European Union, but that's not to say that we shouldn't challenge it. We should challenge it. There are too many directives coming in, too many pieces of legislation to be transposed into Irish legislation and so on, without the usual scrutiny. And that is the issue, without the usual scrutiny. So you get all sorts of things happening. Politically exposed persons having a negative impact on politics in Ireland, not doing the job that it was actually supposed to do. We can't change it because the government have accepted it from the European Union. Likewise, in relation to SIPO, you put them in place, then you don't listen to them. Then they bring about rules that are hard to live with because they don't make sense, and then they don't listen to us. So I would say that there is a need to challenge and be challenging. Challenge the system, challenge whether it's good or bad for the country that we serve, and be not afraid to put forward what you believe to be are the relevant questions. So if you take local government, it doesn't function the way that it should. Members do not have the power that they expected to have before they got elected. County managers and the County Managers Association has far too much power to direct and influence what's going on. So they'll fill 7 potholes for you, but then they get the big ask from you. That is wrong. So those that go down to vote, the dwindling number that go down to vote, they believe in democracy, and they believe that local councils should be able to fulfil the remit of local government, but they don't. And we don't allow them to do it in this House. We haven't presented the type of legislation or the type of restructure that is required to make every single local authority function in a way that is answerable through the elected members to the general public. And that creates a lot of cynicism. People see through what's going on, and they want to see a change. I have never seen such a hunger for change in how we do our business as I have seen over the last few years. And yet, government, civil servants seem to want to ignore that. And let's be honest about it. I see a script here from the Minister, not the Minister O'Brien, and it's written by a civil servant. It's not Mr. O'Brien saying that, it's a civil servant saying it. Mr. O'Brien might agree with what he's doing here, but actually it's a civil servant. And what is he doing? He's doing what the Commission told him to do, simply because in the past, politicians in this House weren't great about redrawing constituency and did it in their own favour. And that is not what they were elected to do at that time. That was not democracy. So the Commission might be democracy, part of it, but the real democratic process is in here. And this is where we should be challenging, whether it's the Commission or any other state agency. This is where we should be challenging them. And I would say to the Commission, because I've heard Justice Baker say that the Commission or Justice Baker had sleepless nights over the decision that was made around my own constituency, Kilkenny. Who, in the name of God, would think that it's okay to put in a big chunk of North Kilkenny to Tipperary, when they can't stand us and we can't stand them on the hurling field? And there is huge attachment to parish and community. I believe in the county, in the integrity of that county, and it should be protected at all costs. It was a ridiculous decision, and it's one that the House shouldn't feel obliged to adopt. I know we have agreed in principle that we would accept what comes from the Commission, but where there is something as blatantly obvious as that it should not happen, because we're trying to encourage people to vote. And all I hear in that part of North Kilkenny is, I won't vote at all. And that's sad. So I would like to see more done in relation to the members here having a voice. Not that we want to gerrymander, but I think that where there is sensible, common sense approaches being brought to the matter being debated, we should listen to them. And that is simply a wrong decision in North Kilkenny. I would say too about the local government versus the Parliament here, I would say that we do not need 174 TDs if the local government was working efficiently and well in the way that we expect it to, but it doesn't, and we don't allow it to. In fact, we don't even allow this stall to function the way it could or the way that it should. We do the best we can, and Count Corla, you've been very good in relation to the members and giving the opportunity to make representations and to expand a bit in the course of debate on matters that maybe not be tightly within the bill or within the topic. But that has to be done. So I would like to see that change, and I'm surprised that the Commission didn't take the opportunity to address all of the issues that were built in up to then in the makeup of constituencies, and come back with a more radical response to the makeup of the next stall and the number of TDs. So I know that we will go along with it, but I think that just goes to show you the level of democracy that's in the place. We're afraid of ourselves now, in case that we might do something wrong. And I would say, yes, look at the Commission's report, look at any report that comes before us, and be not afraid to amend it if it is in the interest of the people that we represent, and if, in this case, it is in the interest of democracy, because that's all we have. Deputy